Just before the rainy season, I worked with my father in the fields on the outskirts of the settlement, near the jungle. We took a break for lunch. We sat near the big rock at the jungle's edge for our meals. We had been coming to these fields only a few times a year, just before the rains, to plow and plant the seeds of grains. But we depend less on these fields for our yearly crop. We were sitting there chatting about crops and eating, when I saw somebody standing between the trees, looking at us. He was wearing just a loincloth. I asked my father, "Who is that man? I am seeing him for the first time." My father had his back to him. He turned, took a good look, and said, "So, he is still alive? Saint KillJooi. Who is he, father?" My father told me that KillJooi was his childhood friend. He gave me half of his share of food. "Go and give this food to him." I took the food to him. That strange man, who looked relatively young for his age, took the food without a word of gratitude, turned around, and disappeared into the jungle. "Who is this Saint KillJooi, father?" "It is not a good story, son. He used to live in our village, but nobody knows how he came to the village. I will tell his story on our way back. Let's finish the work now." On the journey home, I brought up KillJooi. My father's expression softened. "He's been on my mind since we saw him. He was always an outlier. He arrived in the village when I was just a 16-year-old lad, and we were roughly the same age. We were close once, but as the years passed, his strange outlook and reactions created a distance between him and the rest of the world. Let me tell you how he lived, and how he truly earned the name Saint KillJooi. When KillJooi first arrived in our village, he was taken in by a farming family who raised him as their own. He was a tireless worker, an expert handyman who tilled the earth with a quiet, steady rhythm. Even then, he was more reserved than the rest of us. He never spoke of his lineage or the life he left behind. I recall he went by the name Perrin in those early days. I was drawn to him. He possessed a rare kindness and an unwillingness to judgment that made him a sanctuary for anyone in need. He joined our festivals and competitions, though he moved through them with a polite detachment rather than excitement. The first real crack in our understanding of him appeared when he refused to mock others. I remember us laughing over the bizarre habits of distant provinces, specifically their use of coconut oil in cooking. To us, it was hilarious. When we pressed him to join in, asking how he could possibly find such a thing normal, he simply looked at us. "How does it matter?" he asked. "They are likely laughing at us right now for eating wheat instead of rice." He did this so often, dismantling our fun with logic, that we dubbed him KillJooi. To him, every cultural quirk was merely a product of conditioning, and he saw no point in comparison. Eventually, his peaceful nature turned the insult into a title, Saint KillJooi. After his adopted parents passed, he vanished, leaving us only with his favorite reminder, that human beings are nothing more than collectors of memories. I laughed. "What is that? Collector of memories?" My father smiled. KillJooi used to think that humans were more interested in collecting memories than living life. He would say that a background process continuously runs inside us, trying to make memories out of experiences. This process has become more important to us than life itself. He would say such stuff, but nobody paid any attention. Then he disappeared one day without informing anybody. For the next 15 minutes, my father walked silently. Then, he suddenly started laughing. I asked him, "What is going on? Why are you laughing?" He said, "I just remembered what he told a group of religious scholars in our village. You will laugh when I tell you his words. He told them a story then, so let me tell you that story first. This might help you understand what sort of a guy he was. Once upon a time, in the mystical realm of China, there lived a curious monk yearning to learn from a renowned guru whose method of teaching was known simply as the Way. This guru was celebrated for his unconventional teaching style, which revolved around enigmatic aphorisms. The guru's eccentricity extended to his unpredictable ways. He often dismissed his students after just a week of instruction. Our novice monk arrived at the guru's humble abode one dewy morning. The guru welcomed him with a simple meal and a steaming cup of tea, all before a single word was exchanged between them. As the monk settled down on the mound of soil outside the hut, the guru posed a profound question. A great sage once said that one must become like a child to know God. What do you think she meant by this? Ponder over it, and share your thoughts at lunchtime. You may explore the forest or rest here while I prepare our lunch. With that, the guru retreated into his hut, leaving the monk perplexed. He had prepared elaborate arguments and introductions, but the guru had entrusted him with a task without even inquiring about his intentions. Filled with determination, the monk decided to explore the nearby forest, certain that he would only leave once he had attained enlightenment. While wandering through the woods, he contemplated the guru's question and devised a plan to discuss a child's natural characteristics over lunch. Hours later, he returned to the hut. The guru invited him in and served a delectable meal of rice, spicy mushrooms, and roasted peppers, complemented by fragrant green tea. After the meal, they convened on the mound of soil outside the hut. The guru held a slender stick. The monk wondered what the stick was for. Perhaps to shoo the stray wild animal. The guru inquired, "Did you contemplate the question I posed?" With a confident smile, the monk began. A child embodies innocence and simplicity. Their playful and curious nature makes them a joy to behold. They approach life with unbridled enthusiasm and quickly forget past experiences. However, they are also trusting and need protection due to their lack of worldly knowledge. They love their mother, probably because their mother feeds them milk. To connect with God, we should strive to emulate the child's purity and uncluttered perception. The guru's reaction was unexpected. He angrily struck the monk's back with a blow from his stick. Do you comprehend that information is worthless, or rather it is like shit? What use is this information you're parroting? Reconsider the question and return to me with a deeper understanding during afternoon tea. The monk's awe had curdled into a sharp, cold fear. Was he sitting at the feet of a sage or a lunatic? Seeking refuge in the forest, he settled beneath the sprawling canopy of a great ginkgo tree, determined to pivot his perspective. He focused his entire being on a single inquiry: what is the true lesson of a child? When the realization finally took hold, he hurried back, reaching the hut at 2:15 p.m. He was late. The guru was already seated, the table laid with tea and savory rice cakes. They ate in a heavy, deliberate silence. Sensing the master's disdain for superficial chatter or idle talk, the monk held his tongue, waiting for the spirit of the moment to lead the way. After the tea, Guru said, "I am eager to listen to what you have to say." The biggest characteristic of a child is innocence. That is why everybody loves children. We know the child is not playing a psychological game with us when interacting with them. If you look at adults, they are always trying to maximize what they can get out of a situation or people, but a child is straightforward and has no ulterior motives. That is why God loves a child. The guru was furious. He brought out his stick and struck 2 blows at the monk. Information is shit, but knowledge is shitter. Do you understand this? What am I supposed to do with a man with so much knowledge? People like that are good for nothing. Think hard and try to understand what the great teacher wanted to convey. I will prepare our dinner. Come back at 4 p.m. We will have dinner and discuss your findings. The guru's words struck the monk with the force of a revelation. He was certain now. He stood in the presence of a truly enlightened master. A flicker of dread tightened his chest. What if he spoke a foolish word and was cast out? Seeking clarity, he retreated to the riverbank, sitting in silent contemplation until the shadows of the afternoon stretched long across the water. Suddenly, the answer crystallized. He raced back to the hut, lungs burning and breath coming in ragged gasps. Too eager to wait, he pushed inside without a knock. The guru, seemingly unbothered, gestured toward a seat. Before them sat a steaming plate of dumplings, cabbage, tofu, and a bold array of spices. Judging by the vibrant red hue, the master had a legendary affinity for chilies. The monk took a bite, and for a moment, all his worries dissolved into the simple joy of the meal. Afterward, the guru poured him some tea and looked at him questioningly. The monk rose and exclaimed, "When we are born, there is just an intelligent, affectionate awareness, which can be called the I. Later, we develop a psychological layer called the me. This layer analyzes everything all the time, but the small child does not have this layer. If we can throw the me out, we will be like a child again." Guru looked at him with exasperation. He took out his stick and gave him 3 strong blows at his back. "Information is shit, knowledge is shitter, but my child, wisdom is shittest. Do you understand this? I can tolerate people filled with much information. I can chat with people of knowledge, but I do not even cross the path of people with wisdom. Think it through and come back after 2 hours at evening tea." The monk went out of the hut and sat on the mound outside of it. He did not feel a need to go anywhere. He closed his eyes. He repeated in his mind, "Information is shit. I should discard all my thoughts that are just information. Knowledge is shitter. I should discard all my thoughts that are just knowledge. Wisdom is shittest. I should discard all my thoughts that are just wisdom." After 2 hours, he opened his eyes with a quiet smile. Clarity had finally arrived. He saw now that information, knowledge, and wisdom are merely tools for living, meant to be used, not carried as a burden. Standing outside the hut, he let go of the need to analyze or compare, finding that in the stillness, nothing more was required. He realized that while the mind solves problems, it should not be a constant tenant. To dwell perpetually in thought is to cloud the body's natural, peaceful awareness. The guru came out of the hut with the tea and sweet bean cakes. The monk had his cake and tea but remained silent. After some time, the guru looked at him and said, "So?" The monk snatched Guru's stick and gave him 4 strong blows at the back. The guru started smiling and told him to leave immediately. The monk turned back and started walking away without saying a word. The guru was looking at his receding figure, and then he called out, "I understand your silence, but why did you hit me?" The monk turned back and said, "Bad grammar, sir. That is why you got the blows. I have never heard of shittest." I laughed my heart out at the story and thought about it for the rest of the way. Am I collecting memories deliberately, or is it just a natural process happening to us? Is collecting memories more important than the experience itself? How should we live in society if information, knowledge, and wisdom are just tools?